Welcome, and my name is Diego, and I'm the lead teacher of Inner Wellness Studio, and we're a holistic healthcare practice that is dedicated to supporting your health and your wellness from a very personal and kind of understanding place. So we offer many different yogic practices, including the mindfulness of lifestyle and nutrition. And today we're going to get into really grounding into this holistic practice through the body and working with some of these yogic postures. So let us begin with the feet a little bit apart. And it's a very simple, and this is really the grounding into the body. And the body is our grounding into awareness, just centering into the body as our first instrument to develop our health and wellness. So this mountain pose will be our base. You can actually bring attention to the feet, spreading the mounds of your toes and the mounds of your feet to really broaden. You can shift the weight back into your heels, feeling the weight equally grounded through the front mounds and grounded into the heels. I'll invite you to soften at the knee joint, so just a little micro bend, and we can then extend more grounding through the feet. You can also reach down the hands, spreading wide your palms. So notice the mind-body connection is very grounded at our hands and feet, and then start to draw this firmness from the feet. Feel the ankles and the knees become a little stable as you firm up the quadriceps. Thighs become active. And a light lift to the front of the pelvis. You can feel the outside of your hips as well, gently firming in to create a feeling of stability and steadiness. And more than what we're doing in our yogic asanas or these postures, it's more about awareness and the mood in which we cultivate in the moment. So take a moment to softly gaze ahead. Gentle breaths. And then we'll support the hands at the chest if it feels comfortable. A gesture of prayer serves to broaden across your collarbones. You can feel the palms equally sealed. Broaden gently across your collarbones as you roll your upper arms and the elbows softly back and gently down. So feel the neck free to lift and to extend through the base of your neck. Once again, observe your eyes to be steady. Eyes become steady, so to our awareness and our focus becomes centered. And then we'll softly let the head release down, a nice gentle release for the neck and for the shoulders. And we can let the palms relax alongside us. And we're going to part the feet a little wider. So let's go just wider than your hip distance. Yoga is very supportive and progressive. So feel the alignment that we created in the feet can extend now into this broad extension of the hands and feet. Just check in both sides of the body are equal, and feeling into the fingertips, you can firm up the triceps and your upper arms, the biceps, Feel as you extend into the hands, we create a freedom in your upper back and even space in your chest. And let's try and recreate that feeling in the lower body. See that your feet are facing forward, so the toes are turning in slightly, and the outer edges of your feet are balanced. And as we ground equally into the heels and the mounds of the feet, you can soften at your knee joints and allow the front of the pelvis to lift. This is our grounding into core strength, finding a neutral lift for the pelvis. We can access the strength of the core of the body. So with an exhalation, we're going to take a gentle reverse bind behind us. So you can interlace the fingers, allowing your upper arms to release back. And I'll just show us from behind a bit of space in the palms of your hands. Create broadness in your upper back. And feel a lengthening down into your sitting bones and lengthening down through the lumbar spine to find that natural curve. And let the spine grow tall from the pelvis, raising your rib cage and lengthening out through the crown of our head gently. Okay, and then slowly we can release the bind of the hands. And we can step with the feet towards our midline, towards our center. So I hope all of us are comfortable and we're grounding presently into the body. Just remember, kindness is really the center of our practice and the center of our holistic health. So we're going to continue this exploration of these fundamental transitional poses. And we'll begin with the feet closer to the midline. We'll take a moment to soften our knees. Once again, find a center and a stability in the rib cage and your pelvis connecting. Softly lifting the front of your pelvis as you soften your knees. We can ground into the core of our body. And then with an in-breath, you bring the fingertips to the center, and you can step or lightly jump, just a medium stance of your feet. Feet facing forward, and we'll come through this, again, broad extension into the fingertips, broadening across your collarbones and your heart. We'll adjust the left foot slightly in, just a small angle, about a big toe's distance in. And your right foot will revolve all the way out to 90 degrees. We can actually allow the hands to rest. And take a moment to soften in your front leg. A micro bend can allow us to root down into the mounds and the heels of your front foot. See if you can actually raise the toes of your front foot if you're comfortable. Keeping the big toe mounds, your little toe mounds, and the center of your heel equally grounded. And your whole front leg turning outwards, we'd inhale and recenter the trunk. So the front leg turning away from the center line. And we'd activate the core as we turn the trunk opposite to center. And take a moment to consciously ground through the feet. You can feel the outer edge of your back foot. See if you can lift the arch of your back foot. You can even choose to raise the toes of your back foot if it feels comfortable. And ground more weight on the outer edge, the outer heel of your back foot. Your points of contact in your front foot feeling all three corners of your feet rooted down equally. The big toe mounds, the little toe mounds, the center of our heels. And then inhale to lengthen and lift the sides of the body. Reaching into the fingertips. We'd exhale and ground the hands to the waist. Turn the feet forward to find our neutral alignment, feet centered. And now we'll adjust the opposite foot. The right foot now is our back foot in slightly. And the whole left leg we can mobilize now out to 90 degrees. Recentering your trunk. You can feel the big toe mound of your front foot as your stability point. And the whole front knee, the front thigh to turn outwards, away from the midline. And then co-activate the trunk to turn at the same time towards the center. So the front thigh gently turning outwards, and our waistline and our trunk turning to center. We can really activate the deep core muscles of the pelvic floor. Gentle breaths through the diaphragm and your lower back. So the breath allows us to deeply access and awaken the core muscles of our body. 2 more breaths. You can relax as you breathe out, the shoulders to soften. And we'll turn the feet to face forward. Walk the feet closer towards the midline. Feel even free to jump to center if it's comfortable for the joints. Taking a moment to just reflect. Even these simple sequences are really grounding us into awareness, into sensitivity. And taking a moment in between just to reflect and to listen. Okay, and we'd warm up to the triangle pose. It's known as extended triangle. So I trust we're all comfortable and we're nicely warmed up to grounding the feet. We're going to take it to the next stage into triangle pose. So you can inhale and lightly step or jump the feet apart. Just a medium stance. Stability in yoga is key. Stability allows us to form the foundation for mobility and conscious movement. So see the feet first face forward. And we'll turn the right big toe in slightly, just about a big toe's distance in. And your whole front foot can turn out to 90 degrees. Recenter your trunk as you inhale. And a little micro bend in your front knee. We'll just take a moment to ground through the mounds of your front foot equally. And strengthen down through the back leg, finding firmness and stability in the outer back heel. We breathe out and ground your back hand, and breathing in, lengthen through the bottom side of your rib cage. See your trunk is turning centered. And a little micro bend as we extend down into triangle pose. I'd encourage us to come up higher on the shin bone, just maintaining a little micro bend in the knee. We can lift and lengthen through the spine as you lift the hand onto the top of the shin bone. And even with a nice gentle hold on your shin bone, feel the entire front leg inspired to turn from the inside out. The big toe mound rooting down of your front foot, and the whole front leg to turn outwards. And if it feels good to reach your top arm vertical, we can do that, or choose to keep your hand grounded as well. That's an option. It really helps to turn the trunk. So find it in your length and spaciousness in the spine. Find the room and the awareness to turn gently your trunk. So your heart lifts towards the ceiling. And only lastly you can gaze up if it's comfortable for your neck to look at the thumb tip as a point of focus. Connect to the breath as you exhale. You'd strengthen and straighten the back leg. And then raising up with an in-breath, lift your trunk, turn the feet facing forward, just to find our neutral position. And then the back foot in slightly, and your whole front leg to mobilize, a full rotation of your front leg outwards. And you can inhale to recenter your trunk. We can extend down through the back heel. And as you lightly bend, just a micro bend in your front leg, can we find grounding and equal connection to the big toe mounds, the little toe mounds, and the center of your heel. Breathing in would lengthen through the sides of the body. You can raise your front arm to support that reach. And then a micro bend will allow us to just comfortably tilt over, supporting the top of the shin bone. And see that your neck is relaxed. You can look softly down or gently ahead. And taking a moment more than doing, bring our feeling back to the feet, back to the mood that we're creating in the body. So you can be inspired to lift the arch and the ankle of your back foot and find more grounding into the outer edge of the back foot firmly. And to activate the core, you can ground the big toe mound of your front foot down and turn gently the whole front thigh outwards. And that will give the access to the spine and the core of the body to also opening your chest. Raise your gaze if it's comfortable. And you can choose to either reach your hand vertical or keep your hand on the waistline. Be supported to turn gently the trunk. And then with your exhalation, become very present to stabilizing and strengthening the back leg. And as you inhale, you slowly raise the trunk. Go nice and gently, lifting the trunk, turning the feet forward, and we'd walk the feet to center. So just take a moment to reflect. The simplicity of yoga really allows us to have an effect on our holistic and complex makeup. So the inspiration from triangle pose really allows us to just embody full holistic benefits in a very simple and accessible practice. So just take a moment to notice how we feel. Notice the activation of your feet and the core of the body. Just bringing a more open and relaxed posture where we are. And then gently we'll bow our heads down. Slowly we can release our palms. And we'll take a medium stance of the feet. Just to complement, we'll fold forward. Just checking in the toes are turning slightly inwards. So the big toes in, the heels gently out. And we'll take a soft bind of the elbows. A gentle bend in the knees. can allow for the lower back and the pelvis to move into a healthy release forward. Feel free to put your hands onto your shin bones if your lower back needs that support to relax. We're going to use this fold as a gentle way to invert the circulation of the body and allow your head and your heart to align, integrating both the experience of our head and our heart's wisdom, and allowing the head and the heart to deeply rest a moment. If you're holding on to the elbows, you can choose to change the cross of your arms to balance. Or feel free to hold on to the shin bones if your lower back needs a bit more support. Just allowing the spine to release as we maintain a little softness in our knees, a little micro bend. And you can find the firmness and the stability through the mounds of your feet. Even if it feels good a moment to raise your toes, feel the mounds and the arches of your feet become strong and active. And then inhaling, you slowly straighten your arms, come up halfway. And then as you're ready to exhale, you can support your lower back. And then inhale to raise the trunk gently. Come up slowly, actually brings the blood pressure down. So take your time slowly. And our feet to center. Okay, so we'll approach the last section of this short sequence. It's a little invitation for you to join more of the online classes and teachings. So it would be nice to get a nice full holistic feeling of the practice. So having done some standing elements, we're going to actually come down onto our knees. It's a nice relief for the lower back. And make sure your knees are comfortable. I'll just show us also the use of a simple prop, a blanket. So you can feel free to put a blanket pad for your knees underneath. Or you can actually put a blanket roll for your ankles underneath. So again, just giving us the idea that yoga is really supporting the body where we're at. So find your comfort in your joints, your big toes together, your knees slightly apart, and then we're going to go on lengthening through the sides of the body. So you can have a good reach. At first you can lift your fingertips, lift your wrists, and feel even a lightness into the armpits. So warming up and creating space in the side body. We take a more relaxed position of the arms, so we can actually choose to widen your arms, bending the elbows in line with your shoulders. And take a support for your head to rest, whether it means resting on your folded hands or your folded fingers. Come to rest into the earth, wherever you find the head and the heart aligned. Just remembering yoga is not about doing so much as it is about responding to the body and just supporting our harmony. So here's a good example. Wherever our head and our heart align, find that position. And encourage the head to deeply rest. Take a moment to soften. As the body now becomes more supported and restful, notice our concentration and breath awareness can become more present, more conscious. Deeply connect to the breath and feel the breath through the body. The breath is very subtle. These standing asanas, especially these yogic postures and standing, develop our proprioception. So feeling the body within the moment, within space. So standing really grounds us into being present and gives us the energy and the alertness to really feel the moment fully. These standing asanas also form the foundation of strengthening the core muscles and strengthening the muscles of our breath. So we can deeper and deeper soften and just restore our body and our mind through the body, through the breath. We'll take 4 more conscious breaths, feeling the ribs and the chest expand as you breathe in. Feel the neck and the shoulders and the back softening as you breathe out. And then we'll slowly gaze ahead. You can take a moment to reach, to lengthen. And then we'll take time to raise the trunk gently. You lift your chest and lift your head lastly. So we'll take an opportunity to counter stretch the legs. So you can go on gently, just in your own time. Just extending the legs outstretched. Just relaxing the joints. All of these poses in and out actually serve a functional balance. So a balance between strengthening and mobilizing the joints, also warming up to movements, as well as complementary and neutralizing movements. Even within one of the postures, this mindful process, these vinyasas are very balanced. So I'll just take an opportunity to show us, if we are following along still, it's our last posture before we take a moment to rest. I would offer an opportunity to observe the shape first. So I'll just demonstrate while we watch. And you're going to want to align your knees and your feet to be above each other. So I'll just show us coming down slowly. And also just checking in. You can reach your fingertips towards your feet, feeling your knee and ankle alignment. So just a note, this is why I decided to demonstrate. It's important not to move the head around when we're in the pose. So we can just watch and see briefly. I'll show us with the yoga brick, a little trick. A block support we can raise onto the medium edge, or if you're comfortable, onto the mounds of the feet, and just gently putting the longer edge of the block into your lower back. So I'll just show us lifting the heart, so it's getting us into a nice inverted position of your heart and lungs, and let the lower back settle down towards your feet just to rest. If we were without a block, we would have to work a little bit more actively, pressing the hands and feet down to raise the hips. So we'll do it together now, as you're ready. I hope we enjoyed the opportunity for the demonstration, just to see the shape of what's sometimes known as bridge pose. So as you lie down, bring your feet just in line with your knees, not too close. As you reach your fingertips down, you should get a feeling of your knees and your ankles vertically placed. Have your yoga block nearby if it's available. And then with an in-breath, use your inhalation. It actually takes any pressure off the spine and the organs as you come up, breathing in. And we're going to place the support either the medium edge of the block for comfort, or still with comfort. Make sure always the body is at ease. We can choose to place the longer edge of the block. Just a reminder to avoid moving your head and neck around. You can just roll out your arms so the shoulder blades lift gently into the back, and let the neck and the shoulders and the face rest. Especially if we have the block, the physical body can more so down regulate and rest to rejuvenate. Allow our focus to turn more towards the subtle breath. Breathing into the lungs, feel how your chest and your lungs expand. And breathing out, feel your abdomen and your organs settling down, almost down regulating with the breath out. And breathing in, chest and the lungs expand, and then breathing out, abdomen and organs, passive and quiet. So physically we build a bridge that signifies a bridge between the physical aspects of our health and our yoga practice, and it's creating a bridge towards the mental